My beloved soul, pause right here. Do not move forward. Do not scroll past this moment, because what is happening right now is not random, and it is not ordinary. This is a divine interruption, one that has pierced through time itself just to reach you at this exact second. Out of countless distractions, out of endless noise, this message has found you, and that alone should tell you something powerful is unfolding. There is no soft way to begin this, O gentle introduction, because what you are about to hear carries urgency that cannot be delayed. April 26th is not just another day. It has already been marked in the heavens, a moment sealed with spiritual significance, where something unusual, something incredibly rare, is taking place. Both Archangel Michael and Jesus Christ are calling out at the same time, and they are calling for you. Not a crowd, not a group. You. Do you understand how extraordinary that is? When heaven unites its voice like this, it is not casual. It is not symbolic. It is intentional, focused, and urgent. Because right now, a countdown has already begun. Not the kind you see on your phone or hear ticking on a clock, but a deeper countdown, one that exists in the spiritual realm. A countdown connected to something most people have never even heard of: the Book of Protection. A sacred record, divinely maintained, where names are written under heavenly covering. A place where protection is not just hoped for, it is assigned. And your name is still there. But listen carefully. It is beginning to fade. Not because you are unloved, not because you have been abandoned, but because something is pulling you away. Slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Distractions, delays, doubts, small things that seem harmless, yet are creating distance between you and the protection that was meant to surround your life. And now, you have been given something that many never receive: a final window. 15 seconds. Not literal seconds that you can measure, but a prophetic moment. A short, critical space in time where your attention, your awareness, your choice determines what happens next. This is why your heart feels a little heavy right now. This is why something inside you told you to stop and listen. Because your spirit recognizes what your mind is still trying to understand. Archangel Michael is not standing far away. He is here, in the unseen, defending you. His presence is not passive. It is active, alert, and intense. He sees the forces that are trying to pull you away from this very moment. He sees the subtle pressure urging you to ignore this, to delay, to say "I'll come back later." But he also knows something you don't yet see, that later may not come the same way again. And then there is Jesus. Not distant, not silent, not watching from afar. He is pleading, not out of desperation, but out of a love so powerful, so unwavering, that he refuses to let your name disappear without reaching for you first. Right now, in this very moment, he is interceding for you, standing between you and the consequence of walking away, calling you closer, not pushing you away. So ask yourself this, and answer honestly within your heart: why did this reach you? Why now? Out of so many voices, so many messages, so many moments, why this one? Because this is not just another message. This is your moment. And if you ignore it, if you treat it like background noise, if you walk away without truly hearing what is being said, you may never fully understand what you just turned away from. So don't rush. Stay right here. Because what is about to be revealed next will open your eyes to something deeper, something hidden, something that heaven is urgently trying to show you before it's too late. Tell me when you're ready, and I will continue. There is something you were never fully taught, something hidden beneath layers of distraction, tradition, and silence. And yet, it has always existed, quietly, powerfully, and undeniably real. It is known in the spiritual realm as the Book of Protection. This is not a metaphor. It is not just a poetic idea meant to comfort the mind. It is a living record, established under divine authority, where names are inscribed under a covenant of covering. A place where heaven recognizes those who are aligned, attentive, and spiritually connected. And right now, whether you fully understand it or not, your name is connected to it. But here is the truth that many never hear. This book is not static. Names are not written once and then forgotten. They are sustained through awareness, through spiritual alignment, through the choices you make when you are faced with moments exactly like this one. The Book of Protection is not about perfection. It is about connection. A living connection between you and the divine covering assigned to your life. And this is where the tension begins. Because while heaven writes and sustains, there are forces that attempt to erase, to weaken, to blur what has been written. Not with physical hands, but through influence, through distraction, through subtle redirection that pulls your focus away from what truly matters. This is why you have felt certain shifts in your life. Moments where things felt heavier than usual. Times where your clarity seemed clouded, where your energy felt drained, where your direction felt uncertain. These are not random experiences. They are signs of a deeper spiritual movement, one that is directly connected to your position within this divine covering. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of this protection. Not just a warrior in battle, but a defender of alignment. He does not operate in chaos. He operates with precision, watching over those who are meant to remain under divine covering. He sees when a name begins to drift, not because it is being forcefully removed, but because the connection is weakening. And when that happens, he does not remain silent. He steps forward. He warns. He fights to hold the line. But there is something even more profound happening right now. Jesus is not only aware of your name in this book, he is actively interceding for it. This means that even as your attention has been pulled in different directions, even as moments of doubt or delay have crept in, he has been standing in the gap for you. Not accusing, not condemning, but advocating. Because the truth is, your name was never meant to fade. It was meant to remain. However, the Book of Protection responds to something very specific, your response. Your willingness to stay present when it matters. Your decision to listen when you are being called. Your ability to recognize that some moments carry more weight than others. And this is one of those moments. You may be wondering, what does it mean that my name is fading? It does not mean you are being rejected. It does not mean you have failed beyond repair. It means you are at a crossroads, a point where your awareness is being tested, a point where your attention is being pulled in two directions, one leading deeper into protection, the other leading into distance. And the danger is not in making a dramatic mistake. The danger is in doing nothing, in ignoring, in delaying, in assuming there will always be another chance to respond the same way. Because the Book of Protection is not about fear, it is about alignment. It responds when you lean in, when you choose to stay, when you recognize that something greater is reaching for you. This is why this message feels different. This is why it carries weight. Because it is not just informing you. It is inviting you back into alignment before the connection weakens any further. And heaven is watching closely. Not to judge you, but to see your response. Archangel Michael is holding his position, watching to see if you will remain. Jesus is still interceding, still calling, still extending grace in this very moment. But neither will force your choice, because this must come from you. So right now, without overthinking, without hesitation, ask yourself, are you staying aligned or are you drifting? Because what happens next will reveal the depth of this moment and why heaven paused everything just to reach you before it was too late. Something extraordinary is happening right now and you can feel it, even if you cannot fully explain it. There is a stillness around this moment, almost as if everything else has faded into the background. The noise, the distractions, the endless movement of your day, it has all slowed down. And there is a reason for that. Heaven has posed for you. Not in a symbolic way, not in a distant or poetic sense, but in a real, intentional act of divine focus. Out of all the moments that could have passed unnoticed, this one hath been set apart. This one has been marked. Because right now, something is being decided that carries weight far beyond what your eyes can see. Jesus is not watching this from afar. He is actively interceding in this very second, speaking your name, standing in the gap between you and what is trying to pull you away. There is a conversation happening in the spiritual realm concerning you, and it is not silent. It is filled with urgency, with compassion, and with a deep, unshakable desire to keep you within divine protection. You may not hear it with your ears, but your spirit senses it. That quiet pull you feel, that inner voice telling you to stay just a little longer, that is not random. That is the echo of heaven reaching toward you. At the same time, there is another movement happening, one that is just as real, but far more subtle. Forces that do not want you to hear this. Influences that are trying to distract you, to break your focus, to convince you that this moment is not important. They whisper things like, you can come back later, where this is not urgent, where this does not really matter. But here is the truth. If it did not matter, it would not be resisted. The very fact that you feel a tension right now, a quiet battle between staying and leaving, is evidence that something significant is unfolding. Because moments like this, moments where heaven draws near, are always contested. Not because you are weak, but because you are valuable. Archangel Michael is standing at the center of this unseen battle, not as a distant observer, but as an active defender. His presence is firm, unyielding, focused entirely on holding the line around you. He sees the attempts to pull you away. He sees the subtle strategies designed to make you disengage, and he is pushing back against them, giving you the space to make a clear and conscious choice. But even with all of heaven's movement, there is one thing that cannot be overridden: your decision. This is the moment where everything slows down so that you can see clearly, not with your physical eyes, but with your awareness. Because the danger was never that you would be forced out of protection. The danger was that you might walk away without realizing what you were leaving behind. And that is why this moment feels so intense. Because it is real. Because it is active. Because it matters. Jesus is still speaking your name. Not once, not casually, but continuously. There is a persistence in his voice, a refusal to let this moment pass without reaching you fully. Not out of pressure, but out of love that does not give up easily. And here is something you must understand. He would not be pleading if this moment were not critical. He would not be calling if there were no risk. He would not be reaching if your presence here did not matter. So the question is no longer whether this is real. The question is whether you will respond. Will you stay present? Will you lean in just a little more? Will you allow yourself to fully receive what is being placed in front of you? Because right now, heaven is not asking for perfection. It is asking for your attention. It is asking for your willingness to remain. It is asking for your decision not to walk away. And that decision as simple as it may seem, carries more weight than you realize. So do not rush past this. Do not let this moment slip by unnoticed. Because something sacred has paused to reach you, and what you do next will echo far beyond this moment. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, type "I will not walk away" in the comments. Your declaration matters. Blessing code 4591 is now being released over your life. And as this moment settles into your heart, understand this: when you choose to stay, when you choose to remain under this divine covering, you are not just receiving, you are becoming part of a greater movement of light that reaches others who are still searching. There are souls who have not yet heard what you are hearing right now. There are lives still waiting for a message like this to break through their darkness. And sometimes the way heaven reaches them is through those who choose to support the spreading of this word. I feel called to help this message reach someone who is about to walk away. If that thought has crossed your heart even for a second, do not ignore it. This is a moment of sowing, where your action becomes a seed that carries light into someone else's life. The word says, "Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just a verse. It is a living promise being spoken over you right now. As you give, as you support this mission, you are opening a flow that returns back into your life in ways you cannot yet see. The PayPal link is in the description, and a QR code is present for you to act immediately. This is not just support. It is alignment. It is participation in something greater than yourself. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting you to do. So now, act now, and watch what heaven releases in return. There are moments in your life that feel heavier than they should, moments where nothing is visibly wrong, yet everything feels slightly off. A quiet confusion, an unexplained delay, a weight that settles in your spirit without a clear reason. You may have dismissed these feelings, telling yourself it is just stress, just life, just another phase. But what if it is more than that? What if these are signs? Not signs of failure, not signs that you are falling apart, but signs that something deeper is happening around you. Because when a name is under divine protection, it does not go unnoticed. And when that protection begins to weaken, even slightly, there are indicators. Subtle at first, but very real. One of the first signs is distraction. Not obvious distraction, but the kind that feels harmless. You sit down to focus, to reflect, to reconnect, and suddenly your attention is pulled in a dozen different directions. Small interruptions, random thoughts, a sudden urge to do something else. It feels natural, even innocent. But over time, it creates distance. It pulls you away from moments that actually matter. Another sign is delay. Things that should move forward don't. Opportunities stall. Decisions become unclear. You find yourself waiting without understanding why. It feels like something is holding things back, like you are standing still while everything else moves around you. And the longer it continues, the easier it becomes to lose clarity and motivation. Then comes emotional heaviness. Not constant, but recurring. A weight that shows up without warning. You may feel tired even when you have rested. Uncertain even when nothing has changed. Disconnected even when you try to stay grounded. This is not weakness. It is pressure. A subtle form of resistance designed to wear you down over time. There is also confusion. Moments where your thoughts feel scattered, where your direction feels unclear, where even simple decisions seem harder than they should be. You begin to question things you once felt certain about. Doubt slips in quietly, not loud enough to alarm you, but strong enough to shift your focus. These are not coincidences. These are patterns, and patterns reveal intention. Because when your name is connected to something greater, when it is written under divine protection, there will always be attempts to create distance, not through force but through influence, not by removing you instantly, but by slowly pulling your attention away until the connection weakens on its own. This is why this message found you now, not earlier, not later, now, because the signs have already been appearing in your life, whether you recognize them or not. And heaven, in its mercy, does not stay silent when it sees you drifting. It responds. It reaches. It interrupts. Archangel Michael hath been watching these patterns closely. He does not ignore the subtle shifts. He sees how distraction has tried to pull you away. He sees how delay has attempted to frustrate you. He sees how emotional weight has tried to exhaust you. And he understands the strategy behind it. But more importantly, he understands your value. That is why he stands firm. That is why he does not step back. Because he knows that if you remain aware, if you recognize what is happening, you can break the pattern. You can step out of the cycle before it pulls you further away. And then there is Jesus. His response to these signs is not frustration. It is compassion. He sees every moment where you felt overwhelmed, every second where you questioned yourself, every instance where you almost gave up. And instead of turning away, he moves closer. He calls you back, not with pressure but with persistence. Because he knows that these signs are not the end of your story. They are a warning before a turning point. And the turning point is here. Right now. You are no longer unaware. You are no longer in the dark about what has been happening around you. You can see the patterns. You can recognize the signs. And that changes everything. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Now, the choice becomes clearer. Will you continue to move through these patterns without questioning them? Or will you pause, reflect, and realign yourself with the protection that was always meant to cover you? This is not about fear. It is about awareness. Because awareness breaks influence. Awareness restores clarity. Awareness brings you back into alignment. So take a moment right now and think. Have you felt the distraction? Have you noticed the delays? Have you experienced the heaviness, the confusion, the subtle pull away from what truly matters? If the answer is yes, then this message is not random. It is confirmation. Confirmation that what you are experiencing has a deeper meaning. And more importantly, confirmation that you still have time to respond. Because the moment you recognize the signs is the moment you can choose differently. And that choice will determine what happens next. Listen closer, because this is where most people lose their moment without even realizing it. When you first heard 15 seconds, something inside you reacted. Maybe it felt intense. Maybe it felt urgent. Maybe it even felt uncomfortable. But what you must understand is this. This is not about a literal countdown. This is not about numbers ticking away on a physical clock. This is about a spiritual window that opens with precision and closes with silence. And right now you are standing inside that window. The 15 seconds represent a divine interval, an appointed moment where your awareness becomes heightened, where your spirit becomes sensitive, and where your decision carries a weight far greater than usual. These moments are not long. They are not stretched out for convenience. They are brief, intentional, and deeply significant. They are invitations. But here is the truth that many fail to recognize. An invitation is only powerful if it is accepted. Most people miss these windows, not because they are denied access, but because they hesitate when it matters most. They pause. They question. They tell themselves, "I will come back to this later." And in doing so, they unknowingly allow the moment to pass. Because this kind of window does not wait for certainty. It responds to decision. Right now, you may feel a quiet tension inside you. A pull to stay and at the same time, a subtle urge to move on. The tension is not eselucheahikekian or esteyeri. That is the exact point where your decision is being formed. Because whenever a divine moment opens, there is always resistance trying to close it. That resistance does not shout. It whispers. It sounds reasonable. It feels harmless. It tells you that this is not urgent, that you have time, that you can return later with more focus, more clarity, more readiness. But what it is really doing is creating delay. And delay is how destiny is postponed. Archangel Michael sees this moment with complete clarity. To him, this is not small. This is not optional. This is a doorway that hath been opened specifically for you. A passage back into alignment, into protection, into clarity. And right now, he is standing at that doorway, not forcing you, not pushing you, but guarding the space so nothing interferes with your ability to choose. He is holding the line for you, but he will not make the step for you. At the same time, Jesus is not distant from this moment. His presence is near, and his voice carries a deep urgency wrapped in compassion. He is not asking out of pressure. He is calling out of love, because he knows what this moment holds. He knows what is available to you right now that will not be available in the same way once this window passes. That is why he is pleading, because he sees both sides of your decision. He sees what happens if you respond, and he sees what happens if you walk away. The 15-second window is not about fear. It is about access. Access to a deeper level of protection. Access to clarity that removes confusion. Access to alignment that restores what has been slowly drifting in your life. But access requires response. It requires you to be present. It requires you to stay when distraction tells you to leave. It requires you to listen when delay tells you to wait. It requires you to act when hesitation tries to hold you still. And this is where everything becomes real. Because in moments like this, your choice is not just about now. It echoes beyond now. It shapes your direction. It strengthens or weakens your connection. It determines whether you move closer to what is meant for you or further away from it. You may feel like you are doing something small right now. Just listening, just staying present, just considering these words. But in the spiritual realm, this is not small. This is alignment. This is awareness. This is you standing in a moment that has been specifically appointed for you. And moments like this do not repeat the same way. That is why hesitation is dangerous. Not because you are being judged, but because delay quietly closes what was once open. And when the window closes, it does not slam shut. It does not announce itself. It simply fades. The urgency lessens. The awareness dims. A moment that once felt so clear becomes distant, almost forgettable. And that is how people lose what was meant for them. Not through rejection, but through inaction. So right now, understand where you are. You are not just hearing a message. You are standing in a window. A living, active, spiritual moment where your response matters. This is your access point. This is your opportunity. This is your moment to choose awareness over distraction, presence over delay, alignment over distance. Do not treat it lightly. Do not assume it will wait, because it will not. The window is open but not forever. And what you choose to do right now, Whether you step forward with intention or step back into hesitation will determine what happens next in ways you cannot yet fully see. So stay. Remain present. Do not walk away. Because this 15-second window is still open over your life right now. Listen carefully, because this is no longer just a message being explained to you. This is a voice reaching directly toward you. Not distant, not symbolic, but intentional and urgent. The presence of Archangel Michael in this moment is not passive. He is active, focused, and deeply invested in what you are about to decide. He is not standing far away, observing from a distance. He is standing close, watching, guarding, waiting. There is a seriousness in his presence right now that cannot be ignored. Not fear, not pressure, but intensity. The kind of intensity that comes when something truly matters. Because from his perspective, what you are experiencing is not small. It is not just another moment passing in your day. It is a spiritual intersection, a point where your direction can shift in ways you do not yet fully understand. And he sees it clearly. He sees what is trying to pull you away. He sees the subtle forces that have been working quietly in your life. Distractions that seemed harmless, delays that felt frustrating, confusion that made you question yourself. He sees how these things have been building, not randomly, but strategically, attempting to create distance between you and the protection that surrounds your life. You may not have noticed the pattern at first, but he did. You may have thought it was just life unfolding, but he knew there was more. That is why he did not step back. That is why he remained present. Because his role is not only to fight battles you cannot see, it is to keep you within the alignment where those battles cannot overtake you. Right now, Teed is holding that line. But listen closely to this truth. He cannot hold it alone. There is a part of this moment that belongs to you. Archangel Michael does not force decisions. He does not override your will. He does not push you into alignment against your choice. What he does is protect the space where you can choose freely, clearly, and without interference. And that is exactly what he is doing right now. He is creating a moment of clarity for you. A moment where the noise is quieter. A moment where the distractions lose their grip. A moment where you can see, even if just for a second, what is really happening around you. Because he knows that if you can see clearly, you will choose differently. His plea is not spoken in panic. It is spoken with strength. Do not walk away. Not because you are weak, but because you are being targeted. Not because you are lost, but because you are valuable. There is a difference, and he wants you to understand that difference. Because when you recognize your value, you begin to understand why this moment is so important. You begin to see why there hath been resistance. You begin to realize that the distractions, the delays, the confusion, they were not SL Hucharadikakui or Estayuri. They were attempts to pull you away from a position that holds significance in the spiritual realm. And now that you are aware, everything changes. Archangel Michael is not asking you to fight this battle alone. He is not asking you to figure everything out in one moment. He is simply asking you to remain, to stay present, to not step away when the moment becomes clear. Because staying is your act of alignment. Staying is your response. Staying is your decision. And that decision strengthens everything around you. You must understand something deeper here. From his perspective, time does not move the way you think it does. He sees patterns before they fully unfold. He sees consequences before they become visible. And right now, he sees what could happen if you choose to walk away from this moment. Not instantly, not dramatically, but gradually. A slow drift, a quiet distance, a weakening of connection that you may not even notice until it has already taken effect. And that is why his plea carries urgency, because he is not reacting to what is happening now. He is responding to what is about to happen next. But here is the powerful truth within all of this. Nothing is fixed yet. Nothing is decided yet, because your choice is still unfolding. And that is why he is still here, still standing, still holding the line, still calling you to remain. Because as long as you are present, as long as you are aware, as long as you choose not to walk away, the connection remains strong. The protection remains active. The alignment remains intact. This is not about doing something extraordinary. This is about not ignoring something essential. Right now, in this very moment, you are being given clarity that many never receive. You are being shown what is happening behind the surface. You are being made aware of something that was once hidden. And that awareness is a gift. But it is also a responsibility. Because once you see, you must choose. Archangel Michael has done what he was assigned to do. He has warned. He has protected. He has made the moment clear. Now the decision moves to you. Will you remain in this awareness? Will you stay aligned with what is being revealed? Or will you step away, allowing the moment to pass as if it never mattered? He is still standing, still watching, still waiting, and his plea remains the same. Do not walk away, because what you choose right now will shape everything that follows. There is a shift happening in this moment, a change in tone, a change in presence, a change in how the message reaches your heart. Where there was strength and firmness, now there is warmth. Where there was urgency, now there is compassion wrapped around that urgency. Because now you are hearing the voice of Jesus, and his voice does not come to push you. It comes to reach you. It comes to draw you closer, not by force, but by love so deep that it refuses to let you walk away without being reminded of who you are and what you mean to him. Right now, he is not distant. He is not silent. He is not observing from far away. He is near, closer than you realize, speaking directly into the part of you that still feels, still hopes, still longs for truth. And what he is expressing in this moment is not anger. It is mercy. It is compassion. It is a love that has seen every part of you and still chooses to call your name. You must understand this clearly. Jesus is not pleading because you are failing. He is pleading because you matter. There is a difference. He sees every moment you felt distracted, every time you delayed something important, every instance where confusion clouded your thoughts. He sees the weight you carried when things did not make sense. He sees the times you almost gave up, the times you felt distant, the times you questioned yourself. And yet he did not step away. He did not withdraw. He did not remove your name. Instead, he moved closer, because his nature is not to abandon. It is to restore. That is why his voice in this moment carries both urgency and tenderness. He knows what is at stake, but he also knows your heart. He knows that beneath the distractions, beneath the delays, beneath the confusion, there is still a part of you that recognizes truth when it is spoken. That is the part he is speaking to right now. Not the part that doubts, not the part that hesitates, but the part that knows this moment is real. His words are simple, but they carry depth. Stay with me, not as a command meant to control you, but as an invitation filled with love. Because staying with him means staying within protection. It means staying within clarity. It means staying connected to something that does not shift, does not weaken, does not fade. You may not realize it, but every time you felt that quiet pull to pause, to reflect, to not rush past something meaningful, that was him. Every time something inside you told you to stay just a little longer, to listen a little deeper, that was his voice reaching through the noise. And even now he is still speaking. He is not reminding you of your mistakes. He is reminding you of your place. A place that was never meant to be lost. A place that is still available to you right now. But here is the truth that gives this moment its weight. Love does not force. It invites. And that means the choice is still yours. Jesus will not hold you against your will. He will not stop you if you decide to walk away. But he will reach for you with everything that love allows. He will speak. He will call. He will remind you again and again until the moment either passes or you respond. That is what is happening right now. You are being reminded, not of what you lack, but of what is still yours. Not of what you did wrong, but of what you can still choose. Because his mercy is not limited to the past. It is active in the present. Right now. In this very second. You are not being judged. You are being called back. And that call is not weak. It is persistent. It is patient. It is filled with a love that does not easily let go. But even love honors your choice. So now, the moment becomes deeply personal. Will you respond to that voice? Will you allow yourself to stay, to receive, to reconnect with what is being offered to you? Or will you turn away, not because you are forced to, but because you chose not to remain? Jesus understands what this moment means. He understands what is on the other side of your decision. He understands the difference between staying and drifting. And still he does not pressure you. He simply reaches and waits. Because the most powerful connection is not the one that is forced, it is the one that is chosen. So right now, listen carefully. Not with your ears, but with your spirit. Can you feel it? That quiet pull. The gentle but persistent voice. That sense that you are being called, not pushed. That is him. And he is still speaking. Still reaching. Still inviting you to remain. Because his desire is not to see you lose connection. It is to see you restored within it. This is not the end of your story. This is a moment within it. A moment where mercy is still available. A moment where love is still reaching. A moment where your response can change everything. So do not rush past this. Do not ignore what you feel. Stay. Listen. Receive. Because the voice calling you right now is not one you want to walk away from. There is something you must face with complete honesty now, not with fear, not with panic, but with clarity. Because up until this moment, you have been shown the call, the urgency, the protection, the love, and the invitation. But now, you must understand the other side of the decision. What happens if you walk away? Not dramatically, not in a way that feels immediate or shocking. Because the truth is, the consequence does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself. It does not make you stop in your tracks and realize what just changed. It begins quietly, almost invisibly. Walking away from a moment like this does not instantly remove everything from your life. It does not cause immediate loss or obvious consequences. Instead, it creates distance, a subtle shift, a quiet separation between you and the protection that was actively covering you. At first, you may not notice it. Things may feel the same. Your routine continues. Your life moves forward. But something small begins to change beneath the surface. The clarity you once felt becomes slightly weaker. the awareness you had begins to fade. The sensitivity to moments like this becomes less sharp. And that is how it begins. Not with a fall, but with a drift. Because walking away is not always a bold decision. Sometimes it is simply the absence of a response. A missed moment. A delayed reaction. A choice to treat something important as if it were optional. And over time that distance grows. The protection does not disappear instantly, but it weakens. The covering that once felt strong becomes less noticeable. The connection that once felt clear becomes harder to recognize. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to move through life without the same level of spiritual awareness you once had. This is the true consequence. Not punishment, not rejection, but separation. A separation that happens quietly, gradually, until it becomes your new normal. Archangel Michael sees this clearly. He knows that the greatest danger is not an obvious fall, it is an unnoticed drift. That is why his warning carries urgency. Because once distance begins, it becomes harder to recognize. It becomes easier to accept. And eventually, it feels normal. And that is what he is trying to prevent. Jesus also understands this deeply. That is why his voice carries both love and seriousness. Because walking away from this moment is not just about ignoring a message. It is about stepping away from an opportunity to remain aligned with something that was meant to protect you. And once that alignment weakens, vulnerability increases. Not in a way that you immediately see, but in a way that affects your clarity, your decisions, your direction. You may find yourself more easily confused, more easily distracted, more easily pulled into things that take you further away from what truly matters. This is not sluchikakien or esteyuri. This is the result of distance. Because where there is less alignment, there is less resistance to what tries to pull you away. And that is why this moment matters so much. Because right now you are not in that place. Right now you are aware. Right now you can see clearly. Right now, you have the opportunity to choose differently. But if you walk away from this awareness, that clarity begins to fade. And once it fades, it becomes harder to return to this exact place again. That is the part many people do not realize. Moments like this do not repeat in the same way. The urgency you feel now will not feel the same later. The clarity you have now will not be as sharp later. The awareness you have now may not be as strong later. Because the window that is open now will not remain open forever. So the consequence is not immediate loss. It is gradual disconnection. It is the slow fading of something that was once active in your life. And the most difficult part is this: you may not even realize when it fully happens. That is why this warning is being given now. Not to create fear, but to create awareness. Because awareness allows you to choose differently. Awareness gives you the chance to stay. Awareness keeps you from drifting into something you never intended. So right now, you stand at a clear point of decision. You understand what is being offered. And now you understand what is at risk. This is not about pressure. This is about truth. Because the truth is walking away always has a consequence, even if it is not immediately visible. So pause for a moment. Be honest with yourself. Are you willing to lose this clarity? Are you willing to risk that slow distance forming in your life? Or will you choose to remain, to stay aligned, to hold on to what is being placed in front of you right now? If this message is reaching your spirit, type "I choose to stay" in the comments. Let your decision be clear. Blessing code 8824 is now released over your life. And as you hold that decision in your heart, understand this: every time you choose to stay aligned, you become a light for someone else who is on the edge of walking away. There are people right now who are standing in their own moment of decision, just like you. I feel called to help this message reach someone before they drift too far. If that thought is stirring within you, that is not SL. That is a seed being placed in your spirit. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." This is a living promise, active even now. When you give, when you support the spreading of this message, you are planting something that reaches beyond you. You are becoming part of a flow that brings clarity, protection, and awakening into the lives of others. The PayPal link is in the description, and a QR code is available for you to act without delay. This is not just support, it is participation in a divine movement. Do not ignore the prompting you feel. Toe into this moment. Act with purpose, and receive what heaven releases in return. Now that you understand the urgency, now that you see both the call and the consequence, the question becomes clear and unavoidable. What do you do right now? Not tomorrow. Not later. Not when you feel more ready. Right now. Because this moment is not just about awareness, it is about response. And the power of this moment is not in what you have heard, but in what you choose to do with what you have heard. Securing your name is not complicated. It is not hidden behind something unreachable. It is not reserved for a select few. It is available, but it requires intention. The first thing you must do is become fully present, not partially listening, not distracted, not divided in your attention. Fully present. Because presence is what reconnects you. Presence is what brings you back into alignment. The moment you decide to stop drifting and truly focus, something begins to shift within you. You may not see it immediately, but it is happening. The second step is acknowledgement. You must recognize, within yourself, that this moment is real. That what you are experiencing is not SL. That the patterns, the signs, the urgency, all of it is connected. Because when you acknowledge something as real, you stop resisting it. You stop treating it as optional. You begin to respond to it with clarity. Say it within yourself, even if only quietly. I see this moment. I understand it matters. That simple acknowledgement begins to restore alignment. The third step is your decision. This is where everything becomes active. You must choose to stay. Not just physically, not just for a moment, but mentally and spiritually. You must decide that you are not going to walk away from this awareness. That you are not going to let distraction take you out of this clarity. That you are not going to delay your response. Because your decision is what secures your position. It is not about perfection. It is about direction. When you choose to stay, you are choosing alignment over distance. You are choosing clarity over confusion. You are choosing connection over drift. And that choice reinforces your place. Now, there is something deeper that must happen. You must speak. Not for others to hear, but for your own spirit to align with your decision. Words carry power, especially when they are spoken with awareness. When you declare something intentionally, you are not just expressing a thought, you are establishing a position. So speak clearly within yourself. I choose to remain. I choose to stay aligned. I do not walk away from what is meant for me. These words are not empty. They are a declaration. And declarations create alignment. As you do this, something begins to strengthen around you. The connection that was beginning to weaken starts to stabilize. The distance that was forming begins to close. The clarity that was fading begins to return. This is not imagination. This is response. Archangel Michael responds to alignment. When you choose to stay, when you make that decision clearly, he reinforces the protection around you. Not because you earned it in that moment, but because you chose to remain within it. Jesus responds as well, not with distance but with closeness. When you choose to stay, you are answering his call. You are responding to his voice. And in that response, there is restoration. Not something distant or delayed, but something immediate. A return to connection, a strengthening of presence, a renewal of clarity. But you must understand something important. This is not a one-time moment that you forget afterward. This is a shift in awareness, a shift in how you respond moving forward. Because securing your name is not just about this moment. It is about how you carry this awareness beyond it. It is about recognizing future moments when they come. It is about not allowing yourself to drift back into distraction without noticing it. That is how you maintain what you are securing right now. Through awareness, through presence, through intentional decisions. Right now, you are being given a chance to realign completely. Not partially, not temporarily, but fully. And it does not require something complicated. It requires you, your attention, your awareness, your decision. So take a breath. Do not rush. Feel the weight of this moment, and then choose clearly, intentionally, without hesitation. Because your name is not being secured by chance. It is being secured by your response. And right now you have everything you need to respond. Today, align, declare, and remain. Because what you are securing in this moment will continue to protect and guide you in ways you will begin to understand more clearly as you move forward. Now listen very carefully, because what you are about to understand is something that most people never fully recognize, even while it is actively shaping their lives. You have already chosen to stay. You have stepped into awareness. You have aligned yourself with what is being revealed. But the moment you do that, something else begins to respond. There is a hidden resistance. Not something loud, not something obvious, but something extremely calculated. This resistance does not come to you in a form you can easily reject. It does not announce itself as danger. Instead, it comes in a form that feels familiar, comfortable, and completely normal. And that is what makes it so effective. Its primary tool is distraction. But you must understand this deeply. Distraction is not random. It is not SLUCHAIKAKIN or STYURI. It is intentional. It is designed to pull your attention away at the exact moments when your awareness begins to rise. It does not need to overwhelm you. It only needs to redirect you. Think about it. How many times have you felt a moment of clarity, a moment where something felt important, where something inside you said, "Pay attention to this," and suddenly, something small pulled you away? A thought, a notification, a random urge, something that seemed harmless in the moment, but completely shifted your focus. That is how it works. Not through force, through redirection. Because your attention is powerful. What you focus on grows stronger. What you ignore begins to fade. So if your attention can be redirected, your alignment can be weakened. And that is the strategy. Archangel Michael sees this clearly. He recognizes that the greatest threat is not something that attacks you openly. It is something that slowly pulls you out of position without you realizing it. He has watched how distraction has operated in your life, how it has interrupted moments that could have brought clarity, how it has delayed decisions that could have brought alignment. And now that you are aware of it, everything changes. Because once you see the strategy, You are no longer easily controlled by it. But here is where the responsibility becomes real. Awareness alone is not enough. You must respond to what you see. Because many people recognize distraction, but they do not resist it. They notice their attention drifting, but they follow it anyway. They feel the pull away from something important, but they do not stop themselves. And because of that, the cycle continues. Not because they are powerless, but because they did not act on their awareness. So now, the focus shifts to you. You have been shown what is happening. You understand the pattern. And now, you must decide how you will respond when distraction appears again. Because it will appear, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. Not to overpower you, but to test your awareness. To see if you will remain aligned or if you will drift again. This is where your strength is revealed. Not in avoiding distraction completely, but in recognizing it and choosing differently. When something tries to pull your attention away, pause. Do not react immediately. Do not follow it automatically. Ask yourself, is this taking me away from something important right now? That single moment of awareness breaks the pattern. That single pause weakens the influence. That single decision keeps you aligned. Jesus also moves within this moment, but his approach is different. He does not expose the distraction with force. He reveals it through truth. He brings light to what once felt normal. He allows you to see that what you once accepted without question now has meaning. Because once something is understood, it loses its control. That is what is happening right now. You are no longer unaware. You are no longer moving blindly. You are seeing clearly. And clarity gives you power. But only if you use it. Because if you ignore what you now understand, you return to the same patterns, but this time with knowledge. And that creates a deeper distance, because you knew and still chose not to act. That is why this moment matters. You are being given both awareness and responsibility at the same time. So from this point forward, guard your attention, not in fear, but with intention. Protect your focus, because your focus determines your direction. And your direction determines whether you remain aligned or begin to drift again. Archangel Michael is still standing, ready to defend what you choose to protect. Jesus is still guiding, ready to lead you deeper into clarity. But your awareness is the key that keeps everything in place. Do not lower it. Do not ignore it. Strengthen it. Because now that you see the hidden enemy behind distraction, you are no longer vulnerable in the same way. You have been shown the pattern. You have been given the truth. And now you have the power to remain exactly where you are meant to be. Now everything comes down to this moment. Not the beginning. Not what you have already heard. Not even what has been revealed about distraction, protection, or urgency. All of that hath been leading here to a single, defining point where everything becomes personal. Because now, it is no longer about what is happening around you. It is about what you choose. There are moments in life that pass without weight, without consequence, without leaving a mark. And then there are moments like this. Moments that feel quiet on the outside but carry significance far beyond what you can see. This is one of those moments. This is your turning point. You may not see a visible line in front of you. There is no physical sign marking where one path ends and another begins. But internally, something is clear. You feel the difference. You sense that this moment is asking something of you. Not loudly, not forcefully, but unmistakably. He is asking for your decision. Up until now, you have been guided. You have been shown. You have been made aware of what was hidden. You have seen the patterns, understood the urgency, and felt the call. But none of that replaces what must happen now. You must choose. And this choice is not complicated, but it is powerful. It is the choice between stay and drifting. Staying does not mean perfection. It does not mean you subtly become someone different. It means you remain aware. It means you hold on to what has been revealed. It means you do not ignore the clarity you now have. It means you continue forward with intention instead of falling back into unconscious patterns. Drifting, on the other hand, is not a dramatic decision. It is not something you announce. It happens quietly. It begins with a small step, a moment where you decide that this is not as important as it felt. A moment where you allow your attention to move elsewhere. A moment where awareness fades just enough for the old patterns to return. And from there distance begins. This is why this choice matters so much. Because it is not about one moment. It is about direction. Archangel Michael is still present in this moment. He has not stepped away. He is watching, not with pressure, but with focus. He understands that this is the point where everything shifts. And now he is waiting, not to intervene, but to witness your decision. Jesus is also here, but his presence carries something deeper, an invitation filled with love. He is not asking you to choose out of fear. He is not pushing you toward a decision. He is simply reminding you that what you choose now determines how closely you remain connected to what has been offered to you. He is giving you space to respond, because love always allows choice. And this is where everything becomes real. You cannot stay in between. You cannot remain undecided, because even hesitation becomes a direction. Even silence becomes a response. So right now, in this exact moment, something is being formed within you. A decision. It may feel small. It may feel quiet. But it is powerful. Because this decision will not only affect how you feel right now, it will shape what comes next. It will determine whether the clarity you have gained remains strong or begins to fade. It will decide whether the alignment you have stepped into continues or slowly weakens. This is the turning point. Not because something external is changing, but because something internal is being decided. So pause. Do not rush past this. Do not treat this like just another moment. Be fully aware of what is happening within you. What are you choosing? Are you choosing to remain present, to carry this awareness forward, to stay aligned with what has been revealed? Or are you allowing this moment to pass, trusting that it will not matter as much later? Be honest, because your answer is already forming. And once it is formed, it begins to shape everything that follows. There is no judgment here. There is no force, only truth. And the truth is simple. Your direction is determined by your decision. Right now, you are standing at a point where you can choose alignment over distance, clarity over confusion, presence over distraction. But that choice must come from you, and no one can make it for you. Not Archangel Michael, not Jesus, not anyone. This is yours, and that is what makes it powerful, because when you choose it becomes real. So take a breath. Feel the weight of this moment, and then decide. Not casually, not passively, but intentionally. Because this is your turning point, and what you choose right now will define how the next chapter of your life begins. Now everything becomes still, not empty, not silent in a lifeless way, but peaceful, settled. As if something that was once uncertain has now found its place. Because once a decision is made with awareness, something shifts immediately. even if you cannot fully explain it. And if you have chosen to stay, if you have chosen not to walk away, then what you are feeling right now is not sluchayuri. It is alignment. It is the return of something that was always meant to remain with you. The urgency that once pressed against you begins to soften. The weight that felt intense now becomes calm. Not because the moment has lost its importance, but because you have responded to it. You did not ignore it. You did not delay. You did not walk away. And because of that, peace enters. Archangel Michael is no longer holding the line in the same way. Not because he has left, but because the tension has eased. His presence is still there, strong and steady. But now it is not a warning. It is protection restored. A quiet, firm covering that surrounds you again, not with urgency, but with assurance. You are not drifting. You are not disconnected. You are within alignment. And that changes everything. Jesus in this moment is not pleading anymore. His voice is no longer calling out with urgency, because your response has already answered him. What remains now is something deeper, calm, reassuring presence that fills the space where uncertainty once existed. This is what his love feels like when you respond. Not pressure, not intensity, but peace. A peace that does not come from outside circumstances, but from knowing that you did not miss your moment, that you did not allow distraction to take you away, that you chose to remain when it mattered most, and that choice has restored something within you. You may not fully understand it yet, but you will begin to notice it. A clear mind, a stronger sense of direction, a deeper awareness of what matters and what did not. These are not sluchayuri. They are the result of alignment being restored. Because when you choose correctly in a moment like this, it echoes forward. It shapes what comes next. It strengthens what surrounds you. It secures what was at risk of weakening. And now, you are no longer standing in urgency. You are standing in peace. But do not forget this moment. Do not treat it as something that has passed and no longer matters. Because what you did here matters beyond what you can see right now. This was not just a message. This was a moment of decision. A moment where heaven reached, and you responded. And that response had been received. So now, move forward with awareness. Carry this clarity with you. Guard what you have secured. Not with fear, but with understanding. Because you now know how easily distraction can pull you away and how powerful your awareness is in keeping you aligned. This is how you remain. This is how you stay protected. This is how you continue forward without drifting again. And as you stand in this peace, let your decision be known. Not for others, but for yourself. A confirmation of what you have already chosen. Type I remain in protection in the comments if this message has reached your spirit. Blessing code 9907 is now activated over your life. And now, as this peace settles within you, understand something deeper. This moment was not only for you. There are others standing at the edge of their own turning point, just like you were. There are souls right now, on the verge of walking away, who have not yet heard this call. I will help this message reach someone before it is too late. If that thought is stirring within you, recognize it for what it is, a divine prompting. The word declares, those who bring light to others will shine themselves. This is not just a verse, it is a living promise being spoken over you right now. When you give, when you sow into this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are becoming a vessel through which others are reached, restored, and protected. Heaven sees every act of obedience. Heaven honors every seed you sow. And heaven multiplies what is given in faith. The PayPal donation link is in the description. and a QR code is available in every video for you to act immediately. This is not just giving, it is a prophetic action, a moment where your response aligns with heaven's movement. Do not hesitate. Do not delay. Toe into this moment. Release what has been placed on your heart, and watch how peace, protection, and provision begin to flow back into your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. Your moment was not missed. Your name remains. And now you move forward covered, lined, and at peace.